The consuming fire. Deuteronomy 4:23 Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and make you a graven image, or the likeness of anything, which the Lord thy God hath forbidden thee. 24 For the Lord thy God is a consuming fire, even a jealous God. 25 When thou shalt beget children, and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image, or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, to provoke him to anger. 26 I call heaven and earth to witness against you, this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land, whereunto ye go over Jordan, to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. 27 And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. The above verses give the account of Moses warning the children of Israel, which is Jacob, what will happen if they fall away and go after idols. The Hebrew in verse 24 does transliterate to consuming fire, but also has a connotation of a hungry fire that requires feeding, like a furnace.
Consuming fire in Hebrew is Esh Ochelet, H398. Akal, a primitive root, to eat, literally or figuratively, burn up, consume, devour, dine, eat, feed, with, food, and H784. Esh, a primitive word, fire, literally or figuratively, burning, fiery, fire, flaming, hot.
The scattering of verse 27 did occur. The nation split into two kingdoms, the house of Israel and the house of Judah, and the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom were taken captive by the Assyrian and never returned as a nation. The southern kingdom was taken captive by the Babylonian, and although they returned, they eventually were destroyed as a nation. We can find this consuming fire in many places, one of which is Ezekiel 28:17. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom. By reason of thy brightness, I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. 18. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth, in the sight of all of them that behold thee. 19. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. These verses from Ezekiel will be revisited, because they have much more meaning. However, for this topic, we see that a fire from within will reduce this one to ashes, and they shall be such forever. This means that the wicked will be destroyed, not languishing forever, in a tortuous state. The lake of fire is a metaphor for when they are all consumed and brought to ashes. Recalling the symbology of water, it will be like a lake on fire, when they all are destroyed at the same time. The destruction of the one who is the object above is also found in Revelation. Revelation 20:7 And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. 8 And shall go out, to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. 9 And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven, and devoured them. 10 And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night, for ever and ever. 11 And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. Here we see the consuming fire devour wicked ones in verse 9, and in the next verse, the devil is cast into the lake of fire and tormented. The Greek translated as torment is
Vasanos. Basanos, BAS, and OS defined by Strong as, perhaps remotely from the same as G939, through the notion of going to the bottom, a touchstone, that is, by analogy, torture, torment.
How can we reconcile brought to ashes from within with tormented forever? Let's examine the primary definition of vasanos, touchstone.
A test or criterion for determining the quality or genuineness of a thing. A black siliceous stone related to flint that is used to test the purity of gold and formerly silver by the streak left on the stone when rubbed by the metal.
So, a touchstone is used for testing and examining. The Greek word immediately following, day, has a wide application including judgment.
Itamera. G2250. Mira. Feminine with G5610 implied, of a derivative of hemai, to sit, akin to the base of G1476, meaning tame, that is, gentle. Day, that is, literally, the time-space between dawn and dark, or the whole 24 hours. Figuratively, a period, always defined more or less clearly by the context. Age, mid. Day by day, judgment day, time. Well, years.
We can extract a translation such as this. They will be tested against my touchstone and judged to be committed to the night forever. That is, if they fail. And it is more correct to say the darkness of night. More evidence that they will be destroyed and not languish is found here. Psalm 37:20, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume, into smoke shall they consume away. This is a metaphor and brings to mind the vision of roasting meat over an open fire, with the fat dripping off and landing on the hot coals. They will be reduced to ash and smoke, and this fate is likened to being condemned to darkness, never to see the light of day again, the state of non-existence. And we have these verses. 2 Thessalonians 2:8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. This is to say that the sun will evaporate the night. Continuing. Isaiah 9:18, for wickedness burneth as the fire. It shall devour the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting up of smoke. 19, through the wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. The verses above cement the fact that the wicked one and all his people will be destroyed. They are the fuel for the consuming fire. But those who have Yahweh's seal will not be harmed. Furthermore, Isaiah 6:5, then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. 6, then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs, from off the altar. 7, and he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. The live coals are symbolic of Yahweh's energy, ability, and even though the spiritual being needed tongs, the coal did not harm Isaiah, it cleansed him. This is the foundation of the fiery furnace metaphor/symbology. It is to refine and purify the entity subjected to it, and if they fail the test against the touchstone, they will be consumed instead. Daniel is an example of one who passed the touchstone test, and exemplifies that the consuming fire will not harm those who do not fall away. Daniel 3:20, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning, fiery furnace. 21, then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. 22. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. 23. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. 24. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered, and said unto the king, True, O king. 25. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.